Hey everyone, it's Jonna, the Preppy Crafty Girl, and I am here doing a flip through of my pocket art challenge that Corey the Reset Girl is doing. And I wanted to show you, I'm doing it in an A5, and some pockets I created myself, some pockets I had from other manufacturers, and some are from Amazon, and they were specifically made for an A5 size. So Corey's doing this challenge. It's a 52-week challenge, and every week you could either do a pocket, or you can do a page of pockets, or you can do a spread. So it just depends on however you feel led to do it, as long as you're doing it for 52 weeks. And my plan is to hang in there and do it for 52 weeks. And I'm trying to set myself up for success in this area. So I'm a little bit behind. I need to get caught up, but I'm going to come back and I'm going to do maybe a make with me, and we'll do some pockets for the upcoming or the past couple of weeks, because I think I left off on week 11, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere in there. And they're not in order. I just kind of felt led to just, however, I just kind of went with the art and then, or the prompt, and then then I figured out what week it was. And I have like a little binder here with some of the prompts in it. And when you sign up, you get this free printable. So you'll get the Pocket Art Challenge prompt, and it's at theFirstLoveClub.com. And then she'll give you some guidelines for how you go about. And she has some videos uploaded already of her working through. And I believe she left off on week 11, if I'm not mistaken. So anyway, what I did was, for myself, the pockets that I got off of Amazon, they had 4 pockets. They had, let me see, a single like this, where it's just a single page pocket. And then there was, I thought there was another one that had, two, like one on top and one on the bottom. So as I go through my magazines or find different images, I go ahead and print them out because I just like them, and I'll just tuck them in here, and then later on I'll figure out what prompt they may go with. And what I did was I made myself, out of those Dollar Tree cutting mats, you get 2 in a packet, and I went ahead and I cut out what my pocket sizes were, so that when I am working, when I'm looking in a magazine, or say I have, it could be anything. Say I have for instance, I'll take this. I have this little recipe booklet. And if I say this part of it, I can figure out what size pocket by putting over the template, and then I'll trim around it. And then I know that that is going to fit in the pockets, right? So I always keep those tucked in the book, so I always have them ready. And this book is the only one that I am using these templates for, so it works out great because I just keep them hidden in here. And when I decide that I'm going to work in this book, then I have them ready if I need to do any kind of harvesting of any kind of images. And then the other thing I do is I pre-cut my paper, as Corey suggests, in the proper size. So these right here were paint chips, and they'll fit in the pockets. And then this was scrapbook paper that I had, and so they fit in the pockets. And then I had 2x2s like this size, and they could be like magazine images, or some ledger paper, or they could be scrapbook paper. And I just have like a mix of different ones that I take my scraps and I pre-cut them. And then I just kind of have them ready in a box behind me. And then I also have just different things like notepads, and I cut up Project Life cards down to this size and things like that. So let me just do a flip through. So this was day 1. And to be honest, week 1. And then this is still week 1. So I just kind of was playing with the 2x2 size. And I don't know if you can see these because they are in the pockets, and I'm going to try to keep the glare down as much as possible. But each one I just treated on its own, and I just pulled images that I liked and I saw, and some things are scrapbook. This is a sticker. That was scrapbook paper. This is out of a magazine image. And, and I just kind of added stickers to it. And this, then I also did a little journaling. So I started on this week. I think this was like a theme or a color or something. So I chose blue. This was actually week 1. And what I ended up doing with this one was I decided I was going to do a scripture, something personal, like a photo memory or whatever. And then I was going to do some highlights of that week. And then I was going to do a saying, or just could be something decorative, right? So I and with the title. So I just have, that going on in the 4 pockets. And I thought that was going to be really good, but I couldn't keep up with this. And, so I kind of did it and I kind of didn't do it. I did a scripture reference like on here. I wrote what I did, so this is my what I did that week, my highlight of the week, and then a saying, and then something inspirational. I didn't have any photos for myself, so like of myself doing anything that week, so I just put in, just something that kind of went for inspiration. And on this one, I printed out on clear sticker paper and just fussy cut around it and placed it on the picture. And this came out of an image out of a vintage magazine, and I just kind of added some embellishments to the top. Again, this is blank because, I kind of left these blank because I wasn't sure what I was going to do here yet. So I did take a picture of my week this week. It may be on a different week. I'm not really sure, because then I hop into week 3, and then I have week 5. So these are not going to be. What I'm finding out is that instead of doing a whole page spread, I don't have time to do 2 spreads all the time. So what I decided I was going to do was, when I create with the same color and they look good across from each other, no matter what the week was, I was just going to put them across from each other. So I'm doing more of like a visual book, instead of the exact. But I'm making sure I do all my week challenges. So this was week 3. This was a collection, and I had like a collection of punches, and I just put pictures of my punches in here. And then I used some new punches that I just gotten. So these 4 punches right here were some Project Life size, or no, it was, what is the name of the planner? Is it the Mamby planner, I think? And then this was week 5. I'm not really sure what the prompt was, but I have my saying, Ice Ice Baby. We ended up having a really bad ice storm. It even froze the water coming out the water spout, which I thought that was really interesting. And then it just looked like a winter wonderland in my backyard. It was pretty amazing. I don't know if you can see this. These are actually my photos, and that's actually my backyard. And then I just kind of journaled around, about it. So this week, like this one doesn't even have a scripture reference. So the Ice Ice Baby is something that happened to me that is in my walk. This saying came up. And so, I guess that is kind of a scripture reference for me, even though it's not scripture, but yeah, it's a spiritual reference. So then I didn't do anything in this. This is a pocket. So this was an envelope, but I needed craft paper. So I couldn't find any craft paper, and I had some craft envelopes, and I used the one side, and I haven't finished doing the other side. This one was, I just had this inspiration. This was kind of like an experiment, which was one of the prompts for experiment. And I took the image. I did not do Photoshop, even though I've taken, I don't even know, umpteen amount of classes doing in Photoshop. And I'm going to apologize if you can hear that sawing, because they are sawing up down trees on this property, and they decide to come up against the house and do the trees by the house when I'm in here filming. So I apologize if you can hear that in the background. And so what I did here was I took her, I liked her, and then I had the idea that she would be holding a Bible. So I found an image off of the internet. So, I got it sized down to the size I needed with trial and error. And then I fussy cut out, let me get rid of this glare so you can see it. I fussy cut out her hand so that she's holding the Bible. And then and then this was the saying, it said every lady should carry, it said a camera, but I ended up typing up something that said Bible, and I put it there over where it said camera. And then I just added a few little embellishments to the page, and it's called that one done for that week. I need to put the prompt, maybe a label with the prompt or something down there. And this one is my scripture for this spread. This was a picture that was given to us on a retreat I went to, and so I did that. And then this was a bookmark from Corey the Reset Girls, First Love Club, the Fresh Start, and this was a bookmark, and I just had made that, and I thought the colors went really nice with this whole montage. And then I haven't done anything with this yet except add a couple labels. I'll do something here. I don't know what prompt or whatever, but I just kept finding stuff and just kind of felt inspired by, this was some packaging from a stamp set I think I got, or something, die cuts or something. And I love this color with all of these colors. And so I thought, oh, it goes great. And that was just like a happy accident. And then I added this little sticker down here of her reading a book. And then this week was really a rough week for me because it was the week that my dog died. It was his birthday. And so this in March 18th. And so it was just a rough week. This would have been the first year of his birthday that I don't have him anymore. And so anyway, I found this really cute little thing, and I have a child's reader, and I added that to the bottom of the page. Now this is just the back of that packaging, and I just covered over whatever writing was on the back of it. And then I did this on sticker paper, did my journaling on sticker paper, and added some washi and a few little embellishments. This one, she was actually just sitting in a bin of mine and she just kept like showing up on my table, and I finally just stuck her down and didn't even do anything, right? And then I went back and I had found this scripture that I wanted to add, and I just printed it out on sticker paper also, and thought, you know what, this is a good one. She could just be thinking that. And it says, "Yes, Lord," she replied, "I believe that you are the Messiah, the Son of God, who is to come into the world." That's John 11:27. And this, I had this die cut. That's another one floating around my desk. I just slapped it down. Then later on found this love, because I loved this image. I didn't want to throw it out or anything, so I just stuck it down. And then I put "Life is an Adventure," because remember when they used to mix the gumballs in with the little prize thingies, and you might get a good prize or you might get a gumball. And so anyway, I just put "Life is an Adventure." It's kind of like a gumball machine. You never know what you're going to get out of it. And this one I just felt inspired to do, and I haven't done anything with it. So this is as far as this one got. I apologize for the glare on these pages, but that's, that kind of comes with the territory. And so this is just a bunch of paper layering using some stickers and some different scrapbook papers. And this is off a steno pad, and this was from a pattern. And then I did some stitching at the top. I don't know if you can see that. And then just stapled on some card little things. And I did some little embellishment stickers and washi tapes. And this is some craft washi tape that I have that I just adore. And so I added some of that in there. But again, I don't know what week I'll go back, but I was just inspired to do some paper layering and found the parts, and they were all kind of going as I was working. And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to stick it down, and I'll come back and make this some week, whatever. And if I have to move it, I move it on the page, I move it in the book. Then this is an ongoing one that I have been doing as I've been cleaning out some of my craft boxes. And I decided I'm going to use up my beloved scrapbook paper and over the last year, and I'm not going to hoard it anymore because I've had a few catastrophes go on in my life. And then with my sister passing recently, and just seeing all of her craft supplies and everything she had, but very little to show for what she had. And that just was like, sometimes we can get caught up in being the collector of stuff because we see it, we like it, we save it. Or maybe we hoard it because, this is so pretty, I don't want to use it, I can never use it again. But I decided I'm not doing that because I could be gone tomorrow, and then I never got to enjoy the things that I bought, And I decided I was going to start using my paper. So I cut And some of these companies are not even in business anymore. And they were companies that I loved purchasing from. And so I just cut the strips off, or any kind of like die cuts or anything. I took the packaging and I just started sticking it down on this piece of craft paper. And this will be an ongoing thing as I use up my paper. And if the label's not on here, or the company's not on here anymore. So this was Basic Gray, Fancy Pants, Cosmo Cricket, Heidi Swap's still around, Daisy D's, Pink Paisley, Melissa Francis, who I met her, she's really sweet, Crate Paper, Seven Gypsies, EK Success, used to make paper. I don't think they make paper anymore. This was Rebecca Sauer. This is her attic collection. I don't know if you remember her. And then October Afternoon, yeah, and Basic Gray, I already said. And yeah, so that's ongoing. That'll be, may end up being a big spread. I don't know by the time I'm done. This was week 10, and this is currently this week of week 10 was that I was going to have no shame in my nail game. Now, don't mind my hands. I've been doing a lot of work in water, so my hands are really dry and wrinkly right now. Looks like my grandmother's hands. And so anyway, I ended up taking a photo of, I use these nail stickers sometimes, or I get this polish. And then I found her, and I've had her for a long time sitting in my bin of, I want to use her, but I didn't know what. And she actually was from like a soap ad from the 1950s. And I love that she's holding her hands up and her nails had nail polish on it. So I wrote on here, I put no shame in my nail game. And that's what I did for my currently. That was week 10. The next one I did, I ended up, this was an ad. You can have a lovelier complexion. And so I have recently purchased a Huga light. It's red light therapy. And I purchased this. And so before I go to bed every night, because my face is clean, before I put the moisturizer on, I do a 10-15 minute session with the Huga light to help my complexion. And then I put on all, my night creams and stuff like that. So I thought this was an awesome ad. And I just added a picture to it right here of my Huga light and my hint water that I've been drinking. And so then here I've added in the scripture, she's sleeping. And I thought this was like just such a perfect, it's one of my favorite scriptures. In peace, I will lie down and sleep, for you alone, O Lord, make me dwell in safety. It's Psalm 4:8. So if you ever have an issue with sleeping, falling asleep, or waking up in the middle of the night and can't sleep, this is an awesome, or if you're sleeping in a new place and you're afraid, this is an awesome scripture. If you have children who have night terrors or nightmares, this is another one that you teach your children to say it and everything like that. And, it's just a good one to have in your arsenal. This was an ad from Viewmaster, and I just liked it, so I tossed it in there. This is what I thought was going to be my word, and it is now not my word. So anyway, this came out of a magazine. It was an ad. I kept what it means to flourish, and then I added a little piece of scrap paper to the top. And I thought she was so super cute, and so I pulled her out. She's out of a magazine, and I put in here the scripture for that week, and it's, I am like an olive tree flourishing in the house of God. I trust in God's unfailing love forever and ever, Psalm 52:8. And I just embellished her with some round paper, round punched out circles out of scrapbook paper, and paper pieced her background. And so she's on there, and I printed out that scripture on sticker paper. And then this is some journaling I did. And this was actually the back of these two pages that are in her background. And so I took a pattern girl, and put her on here and put the word faith with the stickers. And this is a journaling card that had faith on it. And it said, faith is seeing the light with your heart when all your eyes see is darkness. And I just wrote truth, and I kind of did some little pattern. This may have been patterns, because I did a pattern with little hexes and punched them out. And then this one, she was on the back of this page, and I kept her because I thought this is so pretty. I don't know how I'm going to use her yet. I may just embellish it. But that's what I'm saying. Like, this book not only is going to be a visual journal, but it's kind of turning out to be that way, and also housing like some of my favorite scriptures and some journaling and stuff. So I think this pocket art challenge for me is going to kind of evolve. It already is evolving, so we'll just see. And because I had cut this out of a magazine, and they are actually playing canasta. And this year I joined a group from my church, and they have a Bible study. And then afterward, they invited me to stay because they play canasta. And so I've never played cards. I've never been a card player. And I thought, why not? I have no social life. And so it has turned out to be just like the highlight of my week. I love my canasta friends, and we just have the best time. And so when I saw this little, I don't even know what this was from, but it was something out of a magazine, maybe for the refrigerator or something. I don't know. And they were sitting here. I can tell they're playing canasta because of how the cards are laid out. And I thought, oh my goodness, I had to add that. I just thought that was great. So all I did was I kept it as is, cut it down to the size for the pocket, wrote canasta nights on there because I'll remember. And then this was on the back side, so I kept that, and eventually I will use that. And this was some scrap paper I love, and I just put it in there. I haven't done anything with it yet. It's on, and then this is on the back. And I found her, and I just thought, there was a scripture that I wanted to write in here because this is one of, just a favorite scripture that I've been reading this last month and trying to encourage myself. And I found her, and I just love that she's looking up. And I wanted to keep this paper, and this was on the back. So I printed out this scripture, and I just embellished it with little star punches at the bottom. And it says Psalm 121, it's a song of ascents. I lift up my eyes to the hills. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. He will not let your foot slip. He who watches over you will not slumber. The Lord will watch over your coming and your going, both now and forevermore. Indeed, he who watches over Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord watches over you. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. The sun will not harm you by day. Oops, I switched those two. No, maybe not. The sun will not harm you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life. And I just love that she's lifting her eyes, because it says, I lift up my eyes to the hills. This one right here was number 6. And I have been wanting to do what's called the friendship bread. We used to call it back in the 80s. It's a sourdough starter. And I've been seeing a lot of the young people doing sourdough starters now. And so I created this page to remind myself that, I once was one of those cool 20-year-olds that made the sourdough starter and made my own sourdough back in the day. And I found a recipe for it in one of my cookbooks. And so I cut it out. It was in a magazine, actually. And I cut this out and put it in here, and I can do a sourdough starter. It's really simple. It's just warm water, flour, and yeast, and do its thing, and you multiply it, and you cut it, you separate it, and you hand some to your friend. And it used to be called friendship, because it says, just as this book was out of the 80s, this magazine was from the 80s. That's why I was laughing. It says, just as friendship grows and brings pleasure over the years, so will a gift of sourdough starter provide continuing delight to a friend. The starter makes it easy to enjoy the fresh baked goodness of our sourdough molasses bread anytime. There was a recipe for the molasses bread. And your friend can use it in other sourdough recipes too. For a sampling of the good tastes to come, place a loaf of bread in a basket with the starter and a recipe. And I just remember when I was in my 20s and we were doing this, I just remember of like, I have to keep my sourdough starter alive. Like, I felt like it was a baby, kind of like the Tamagotchis, which your kid had the little Tamagotchis. It was just like that. And that's kind of how I feel about sourdough starter. I got to keep my kids' Tamagotchi alive. Oh my gosh. We'd feed them and do whatever we had to do all day long while my kids were at school, because they banned them from the school, and the kids were like, don't let my Tamagotchi die. Oh my goodness. I don't know if any of you were like, 90s kids and you remember that. So this was one of the challenges that, this was inspired by, originally from Claudine Helmuth, but Corey did one where she did her dad's favorite saying behind her. So I printed out my mom's, which was, I choose to be happy. This is a picture of my mom. She used to be a singer and TV talk show host, and back in the 40s and 50s. And so I have a bunch of her professional photos. So I just cropped her out. She did this page, and I was laughing because she was talking about the dishes, the plates. Well, my mom always had my plate that I made in first grade, and it had that sun that Corey was talking about and the sky, but mine didn't have the little house. Mine had flowers. And I just remember being tormented because I hadn't finished the blue background because our time was up. But those flowers took a long time. I had made little loopies all the way around it and lots of layers. But my mom had that up to the day she passed, always hanging in her kitchen. And I have several photos of it in all the backgrounds of her in her kitchen. And she'd always say, I just love that. It just makes me smile. I just love it. I'm like, I can't believe you still have that dish all these years since I was 6. And now I have it, and it hangs in my kitchen. So anyway, and it's so funny because my siblings would always say, oh, I always thought it looked like a little girl, like those are the eyes, and she had a bow in her hair. I'm like, no, that's the sky. And then they were like, I thought that was an egg, like a fried egg. Anyway, what fun. Yeah, so that's the end of that. And then this is just like some papers I had on my desk. I thought, oh, that goes together nicely. And I just tucked them in, and this will be like for some future thing. And then, I had that one came out of a magazine, and I just cut it down and put it into size. So that's my, my pocket art challenge book, Flip Through. So I will put a link down to her channel where she talks about the pocket art challenge, and I hope you join in. It's not too late. We're, like I said, in the teens of weeks going into the year, so you have plenty of time to join in. You can work really quickly, and she goes and she tells you how you can like not have, don't have stress. Just do one little pocket a week. You don't even have to do like a whole page spread, or just do a little book of these little 2x2s. That was easy. I just had this extra little page, and I decided to sit and do that. And then when we had the snowstorm and everything happened that week, I actually, yeah. So I don't know. I may peel off the one and may make that something else. I may make this as another week. This was going to be my week 1, but when we had the snow, and then I had the idea of doing all 4 on a page, that's where this one came in, and I made that week 1. So anyway, that is my pocket art challenge book, Flip Through. Have a great week, and I will be back working in this in a future video. So please give me a thumbs up if you've enjoyed the video, and click the like and subscribe. And if you're enjoying the content that I'm going to be providing and have been providing, and I am back filming. I don't have the greatest setup, and it is temporary. My lighting is a little bit better today because I did not mix my daylight with the with fluorescent light, so at least it's a little more truer to color, which is good. But I don't have my lighting set up the way I would like it, and nor my microphone. But all that stuff's in storage, and eventually it will all be back up and running. And I will talk to you soon. Thank you. Bye.